are starting podcast 43. 43, Jeremy.
43. We're halfway there.
We are halfway there.
Halfway to what?
We are 1% there. There's going to be podcast 4,000.
We're always there.
We're always there. That's a great point. That's a great point. So we have our special guest teammate.
Super special. I mean, this is going to be a great podcast.
You guys are talking me up.
Not only are we talking about supplements,
right?
We have
That's the main topic.
Sam here. Yeah.
Do you know why else this podcast is going to be amazing?
Why?
Because I'm done. Jeremy's taking over.
No.
That's why it's going to be even super
Eric's
special.
just going to sit here and not talk.
Just look good.
Yeah, right. Is that even possible?
No.
Has anyone ever heard or not heard Eric talk?
Look at him. He's like,
how long do you think he's going to go not being able to talk?
No.
So Sam, as some of you know, is a teammate. She's a certified personal trainer, professional dancer. How I met Sam was taking hip hop dance classes during my journey into health, and just talked to her about what our thoughts were behind Zero Doubt Club and how much she could help. And she's like, but I'm going to physician's assistant school and
yes.
In August or I guess
May.
it's June.
Yeah,
May
it was supposed
May.
to be August, but then it was May. Yeah.
Then it turned into May, June. But this conversation was from a year ago, and it was just like, we want your brain, we want you. You're amazing, and however you can help us in whatever, we'll take it. If it's 2 hours a week, 20 hours a week, whatever it is, we'll take it and help us more than just, train people, which you have minimally, but
a little bit,
but mostly you helped us build out the I would say the most important part of Zero Doubt Club, which is the content, the education, the helping clients and potential clients connect health dots, creating the binder, creating the journal. You were very instrumental on taking everything that we have envisioned and making it into a fruition. So I wanted to thank you.
No, I'm glad to hear that it was that helpful, because when I write stuff, it's like, is this going to be as helpful as I think it is?
Yeah.
But I'm glad it is, because I wanted it to be.
No, and nothing is day one, right? No business is perfect exactly how we want the business. It's going to evolve into that, and now we've taken the education binder. All our clients have it. They get the weekly education emails that have specific keys, right, towards health, whether it's breathing, meditation, journaling, supplements.
Right,
we'll talk about today.
Foreshadowing.
Right, whatever it is, we want our clients on. We're going to start, monthly calls, weekly calls with our clients and community, which is going to be great. And again, we're continuing to add to the keys. We're continuing to add content. Today's going to be great.
Yep.
Some high to mid-level talks on supplements and get more of your brain. So, but catch us up. So what are you doing? Like, what's your day and week look like? Well, I sincerely don't know. So I'm going to find out as they're finding out. Like,
we haven't talked at all about this.
Right. So what does your week look like right now? You're at Case Western.
Yeah.
Physician assistant.
Yeah. So I'll spare everybody like the details, because there's a lot that goes into it. But basically, like, for anybody who's not been in like med school or physician's assistant school, but most people have heard about med school, and physician's assistants or associates, now they just changed the name, are trained as medical students, but for less time. So we literally are in class from 8 to 5 every day, except for like some Fridays. Today was one of those days. Thank you.
Right.
And you chose to come here.
Yeah.
But it must be really special.
It's busy, but the thing is, like, you don't go there unless you're interested in learning about the stuff that you're learning, right? Like you don't just accidentally get into PA school. It's like you put a lot of time and money and effort into like being accepted and being there. So I'm grateful to be there, but it's definitely busy. Like we learn in like one class we learn 8 hours of lecture material a week. So I don't know, for somebody who's not familiar with that, it's like 300 PowerPoint slides usually. And then for every hour that you spend in class, you're supposed to spend at least an hour, probably 2 hours studying. So a majority of my days are spent like, I get up really early, study before class, go to class all day, sometimes work out if I have time, and then go home and study until I eat and go to bed.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
when you work out there at Case?
Yeah, I do. I try to use our gym there because it's a short commute, and then I can just go straight home afterwards.
Right.
Like I can walk there and then walk back to my car within 10 minutes and then
Nice.
go home. Anything where you can save time is like I'll listen to YouTube videos on the topics that we're learning in class on my way home.
Smart.
Yeah, so
Look at you.
yeah, so anybody who's like in medical school or thinking about it, Ninja Nerd on YouTube.
Ninja nerd.
He explains everything.
So can you get through medical school just by YouTube?
Part of it you might be able to, yeah.
Does Ninja Nerd give out PhDs? And
I wish he did. If he was my professor, I would love it. Like, if he ever listens to this, please come to Case Western and be a professor.
He's really good.
Yeah, very good.
Got it.
He's a PA, and he just breaks down everything that PAs learn, basically, in school.
Got it.
To like a really minuscule, like minute levels, like super fine details that you probably don't catch in lecture because you've been sitting there for 8 hours and you can't remember anything.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I
was gonna say, like, how do you absorb all that?
You
like
don't in class.
300 PowerPoint slides.
You-
And
yeah.
then even later, following up and going through 300 again.
Yeah.
To like learn, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my classmates take a supplement for anxiety and stress because it can be overwhelming.
It's amazing.
But it's fine. Like I enjoy it. Some days I'm like, I really don't want to study. Like I don't. Like today is one of those days. I don't want to go home and do it, but if I don't, then I'll be behind. And so that's kind of like a
But you
motivating factor.
always add value to Zero Doubt Club, and we appreciate
Well,
it.
thank
you
you.
always find time. She's always
Thank you.
adding to our content, writing a blog,
Coming on a podcast.
coming on a podcast today,
Writing
on
a
her
new
first
key
day
right now
off.
too. For
What's the
sign.
new key?
What was it? I can't even remember now.
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness, yeah.
Nice.
I started it yesterday.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember what
You
it
should
was.
be
Yeah.
mindful.
Yeah, right.
That's great. That's
Mhm.
great. And that's the point, that a lot of research does go into what we do. It's not just my thoughts or Jeremy's thoughts or
Thank
whatever
God.
else. Although they're brilliant.
Yes. Most of them.
I think so.
But we no, we dot our I's, we cross our T's, we do our research. There's a lot. So before we do this hour podcast, you've spent probably a few hours. Danny did, I have, Jeremy had. So I'm just saying, a lot of time goes into a podcast. It's not just sitting here for 30 minutes.
No.
It's
No, we're just not just talking to talk. For
because
sure.
the whole point is to educate and make it make sense to people.
Right.
And we try to be level 101, 201. So if you're a supplement expert and or a doctor, maybe this might be beneath your knowledge base or whatever else, or at it. But
There's Ninja Nerd on here.
Ninja Nerd, if you need more elaboration.
We're
Yeah.
ninja nerding this up. But yeah, so let's jump into it. So why are we talking about supplements
Right.
in your opinion, Sam?
So in my opinion, and I feel like everybody thinks a little differently about supplements, but for me, I feel like there's many people that take supplements with no purpose. And when somebody tells me, hey, I'm taking this supplement, I'm like, why?
Right.
Like, I just want to know why.
I
Why,
gave you
why
my
are you
list.
taking it? Yeah.
20 minutes ago, you're like, why?
Right.
Why?
Right.
Oh my
So
God.
for what? And it's fine.
Google
if,
told me.
Yeah. Right. It's
Right.
fine if you have a reason, but the thing is, like, supplementation is meant to supplement your like diet and your lifestyle. It's not meant to like be your lifestyle.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people get it mixed up with just like taking whatever because their mom said that they take this, or like their friend's doctor recommended it to their friend and they feel better, so then they wanted to feel better, even though it's probably not relative to their health at all.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of just something that doesn't get touched on a lot, but people do it and have no purpose. So I feel like it should be discussed because people could harm their health. It doesn't happen very often, but they could harm their health. Or they're just wasting their money and time.
Wasting time, money,
yeah.
and hope.
Right.
That it's not going to do what you think it's
Right.
going to do.
Yeah.
So I found that, for 4 or 5 months, I was taking the list that I found on Google, what 8 vitamins or what top 10 vitamins should men take. And, the list was long. It was multivitamins and B12s and D3s and magnesium and zinc and fish oils. And I would take it and I just not feel anything because I had a healthy diet at the same time, right? So I'm eating proteins, I'm eating vegetables, I'm eating whatever else. And I probably didn't even need it. And then I got off it, didn't really feel the difference either of getting off of it. So the point that you make is if you're deficient,
Yeah.
and need to increase these levels, then there's an absolute need and you need to do it. You need to try. And that
Absolutely.
totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's not going to give you the superpowers that
they advertise.
The multivitamin, you're going to feel better and it's going to boost energy and you're going to be mental sharper.
Right.
And they're going to give you this long list. And I'm like, I can't wait. I'm going to take all these vitamins and maybe it'll take a week.
Right.
Okay, maybe it'll take 2 weeks.
You're so excited to buy them, and then it's like,
and they just don't give you those superpowers. And that's the point of this podcast, is to talk about what it is, what maybe some of the misconceptions are. I mean, we did the research. I mean, more than a third take supplements. The multivitamins take up 40% of all vitamin sales. 30% of adults age 65 and older take 4 or more supplements. So the numbers are super high. There's a huge industry.
Must be a big business.
it's a huge business. Yeah.
It's a big business. It's a big business. So that's the point, is that we did some research and look, there's a lot of healthy, smart people that are very skeptical about supplements and for the right reasons. It's because people are taking them for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And again, they work for the right reasons. So let's talk more about that. So again, what are some of the common you would say supplement needs, or we can talk about our personal experiences first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to talk about my personal experience. It might give a good segue into,
some of the stuff.
Some of the other topics that we wanted to talk on. But personally, I take a lot of supplements currently because I had some less than optimal blood work that I read with somebody who reads blood work. And that was the only purpose for me taking them, right? Before that, didn't take anything.
You never took any supplements until the blood work?
Not really. I had a green supplement. I drink liquid greens every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right.
And then we started on some other stuff, so I'll just name a few. I know you and I talked about curcumin the other day, which is turmeric and a couple other things that just help with overall inflammation.
Right.
And that was for specific things related to being a woman.
Right.
But also I take vitamin D and K in together. Potassium kind of just helps vitamin D absorb, but I also needed it because I figured out that even the fruit and vegetables I eat aren't super high in potassium, even though I eat a lot of them. So I could use more. And then vitamin D,
that's a great point that you brought up, because
Yeah.
I found that a few times as well,
Mhm.
where you can Google, and does this food have potassium? And they'll say yes.
But it's
Or
like,
here are the foods that contain potassium. Then you actually look in the foods, and it's such a small
yeah,
percentage.
it's like nothing. Yeah.
Right.
You gotta
So
eat like a
gotta-
bowl.
Right, right.
An entire bowl.
Yeah.
Right, so you have to be careful on what is the recommended level for the specific individual and what does that specific fruit have.
Right.
Okay.
And we can talk about like the specific level too. Like I take vitamin D, I take 1,000 IUs a day, which is just like a measurement of how they measure like a lot of vitamins. That, you know, they sell caps that are 10,000 IUs, which is a lot of vitamin D for like even a grown male.
But we're in Cleveland, we don't have sun.
Yeah,
I think I take one that's 5,000.
5,000 is 10,000
lot,
is still
huh?
double of what you're taking.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even know if I feel a difference.
Right. But in the winter, it makes sense, right? Because people, especially in Cleveland, if you don't live in like a tropical sunny place, are usually deficient in vitamin D,
Right.
which kind of like yields seasonal depression and lots of other problems that people like have in the winter and they don't realize where it comes from. And it's like, oh, you don't get enough vitamin D. Like we have no sun. So that's okay. But you know, you get somebody who's like outside working as like a landscaper, for instance, and somebody was like, oh, you need to take vitamin D because it's good for you. And they take a 10,000 IU cap every morning. Like they are going to be super elevated vitamin D levels
Right.
associated with that, which is, I mean, a deficiency and a toxicity are just as bad. They just have different symptoms.
Right.
What are the symptoms? Do you know?
You're testing me there. I don't know. I mean, so mental health is very closely tied with vitamin D as well, but I'm not sure the exact illnesses that are related to vitamin D toxicity.
Yeah, toxicity.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
are you just gonna be like super not stressed and
No, I wish that was it. Yeah, no, there's some definite physical consequences that come with any vitamin toxicity, but vitamin D is just an example.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I take those. I take, what else do I take? I don't know. I take,
but the key is that you're taking this because your markers were off.
yeah.
I mean, there was health reasons.
Yeah,
Not again looking for some superpower.
right.
You're looking to have your daily healthy
For sure.
intake so you can continue to function and not go down.
Right,
or
and not
cause,
decline. Yeah.
decline and cause other issues.
Right. And I'll give another general example while we're on the topic. So Jeremy and I were talking about omega-3s before we started, right?
Right.
People who are in families who genetically have high cholesterol could take an omega-3 supplement every single day and it wouldn't hurt them, right? As long as they take like one cap or like the recommended dose on the bottle.
Sure.
Like that's not going to harm them because omega-3s are great for you. They lower your cholesterol, they keep your triglycerides in check, things like that. But would somebody recommend taking an omega-3 daily to somebody who's never had a high cholesterol problem, whose family doesn't have heart disease or anything like that? Probably not. Like there's no reason, especially for somebody who eats like a healthy diet that includes like nuts and fish and stuff like that. They don't need to take that. So
yeah, I think most of the skepticism again is not the harm. It's just the waste.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because you hear that you piss out supplements all the time.
Yeah, you do.
Right.
And poor supplements you will. I mean, like we don't even want to crack into the large industry that is making
Fake.
shitty supplements
Right.
because people do that.
Like, what about the multivitamin? Like that's 40% of all the vitamins, and I heard that
I think there's some good ones. I think it's really hard to imagine that somebody could fit like 12 very bioavailable vitamins and minerals into a pressed capsule.
Exactly, right.
Or like a pressed pill. Now, do I think that like there are some that are probably like, oh, you get 10% of this and 10% of this when you take this? Sure. Could that help somebody? Probably.
But I think if you try to stick to potentially organic or get them at Whole Foods or Costco, like they've done the research.
For sure.
They're not selling
There's
crap.
there's some that are widely known that are still great, like Nature's Bounty.
Right.
They have great supplements.
Right.
I don't know that I would ever take a multivitamin in general.
Here's the other problem I think is happening. Somebody like me Googles, I got to buy 10 different vitamins.
Yeah.
Then I'm on Amazon, looking at fake reviews. I don't know what brands. I don't know whatever else. And now I know I got to buy 10 different bottles. So now before I spend $300, I'm spending $100.
Yeah.
I'm just saying on 8 different vitamins. And some of them might be shitty. Some of them, obviously, I don't need all of them, if any of them. And instead of maybe going to get blood work, seeing where I'm deficient and buying the best vitamin on what I'm deficient on, I feel like I got to go buy 8 or 10 different vitamins that are not doing it.
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying because I think I'm that case.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do that. Again, like people see, I don't know, advertisements for like CoQ, which is like an enzyme that's supposed to help, with weight loss and stuff like that.
I love that too.
This is so great for your heart.
Yeah, and it's great for heart.
Longer.
Yeah. And the thing is, like,
no studies.
Yeah. There are some good CoQ supplements. Do I think they work? I don't know, but
QOQUL or something.
So CoQ10 is an enzyme that's used in like the oxidative pathway for energy burning. Okay. And it's literally the abbreviation. The name is long. The abbreviation is literally CO letter Q 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
But I mean, most people go and buy that I've talked to personally go and buy supplements with no real purpose because somebody told them that it helped them.
Yep.
Like very few people actually get recommendations from their practitioner.
Yep.
Or get blood work done to see if their levels are low or high or what they should do. So
and I just remember seeing these vitamins and inflammation and joints, and I'm like, I'm working out all the time. I'm sore, and this is gonna help. They never help.
Right.
You know what helped?
Yeah.
Stretching.
Yeah. Right.
Water.
Sleep.
Water.
Yeah.
Water, sleep,
Sleeping.
and stretching.
Yes.
Suddenly that helped.
Right.
Anything else you want to share on your experience before we talk about
No,
Jeremy's
let's talk about
experience? Jeremy.
Well, I'm the person who listened to a lot of podcasts and read books and looked at the reviews and are like, oh my God, this is so good for inflammation, reducing inflammation. And this is so good for, ATP and all that stuff production. So like at one point, I think, especially when I started my original health journey back in 2017, I must have been taking like 15 supplements. And I don't know. I mean, I think it's more of a placebo effect thinking that it works. Because now I hardly take anything and I feel great.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know if they work or not.
Yeah.
And it's tough to know. And I didn't do any
but you
blood tests.
You eat so amazing. And I literally just scheduled my first checkup since getting healthier. So I'm really excited about
to get some blood work.
I cannot wait to see the comparison from 2 years ago. But I lost my train of thought.
Well, what I was going to say.
Well, eating healthy definitely.
Oh yeah,
correlates to all that,
exactly
for sure.
So we eat no intended plug, but zeroed out like whole foods, vegetables, proteins.
A lot of color in the dishes, right?
Exactly. So no question that our diets are right. You are taking a couple supplements.
I take a couple supplements.
Yeah.
You wanted to promote.
I did not want to promote.
What's their name? Should we say it?
You're getting paid.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, because I'm on a vegan diet, so I take a plant protein, but you always hear like, okay, but you can't get, your vitamin Bs and all that stuff. I mean, they throw it in there. It's right here on the back, like iron,
right?
30% of your daily value in, one of the servings. Well, I take 2 servings, so I'm already 60% there.
That's good.
You have your magnesium, 35%, vitamin B12, 45% of daily. So, I mean, I do that. And then electrolytes. I don't even know if this is considered a vitamin or a supplement.
It's a supplement.
It's a supplement.
It's minerals.
Minerals.
It's a supplement. It's helpful. But, I mean, some of those are vitamins. Potassium's in there. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I would consider it a supplement. But a lot of people need electrolytes. So it's like, that's not a dangerous supplement.
Right. Right.
Like, especially if you work out, like, yeah, maybe like you could probably use a few extra.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like Jeremy, like your experience is unique because you follow a vegan diet,
Mm-hmm.
and like a lot of people assume that on a vegan diet you are going to need to supplement more, and I feel like you don't have that experience.
I've actually supplemented less.
Right. So like, is there anything that you feel like I know you're kind of in tune with this, like is there anything you feel like you lack in your diet that like if you're thinking about the vitamins, like you mentioned iron, like do you think you lack that if you don't take your protein powder, or do you think you still get it and you just like use that just in case?
Well, I take protein powder every day.
Okay, so it's a regular.
So I don't know. I haven't gone like I guess a week without taking protein powder and not eating, protein.
Right.
So I don't know.
Okay.
I do take a plant-based omega-3s just to kind of offset the large intake of omega-6s.
Right.
What else? Vitamin D on cloudy, wintry seasons, sure. And again, I don't even know. I don't even know if it's working. I think it's more of just a placebo effect. It's a gray day, and let's take a vitamin D. Oh, all of a sudden my mood is better.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right. So, what about the supplements? And we didn't really even talk about it, or just a thought came up, was a diet suppressor. Like a lot of them are diet supplement.
those I've heard actually work, but I don't know if they work in a good way, right?
Because you're not getting your nutrients.
Yeah.
Right, you're just not eating.
You're just not eating.
Right. I don't
You
know.
feel jittery. That's what I've heard from people that I'm like, oh, I'm not eating, but I feel jittery.
It depends on the usage. I feel like this is like a big topic because, like, say you take somebody who's technically like obese, right?
Right.
And they
Most
like
people.
right, like or like morbidly obese even.
Okay.
And they take a supplement that suppresses their appetite a little bit. Like, are they gonna have a problem? Probably not, because like they do need to lose weight.
Right.
But they may be missing some vitamins and minerals in their diet because they're eating less. But honestly, like in that situation, it wouldn't be like a big deal anyway, because most people who get to that point who actually need something like that don't eat a good diet anyway. So it would be like an ongoing
So
problem.
it's helping them more than it's hurting.
Right. So like the benefits outweigh
for sure
the cons.
because
yeah.
the loss of weight obviously helps with everything else,
Yeah.
cardiovascular and,
Right.
and muscles.
Right. But like I don't know the active ingredients in a diet suppressor. Like I've never felt like I needed to take those even at my worst with like my weight. But
They
honestly don't know.
gotta at some point stop working, right?
Yeah, I mean, you probably, I'm going to guess it's like everything else, that like the effective dosage is something that you're going to need to bump up over time. Unless it's something like a vitamin or mineral
Because it's
that
a
they
drug.
put into it, right?
I mean-
I don't know that it's a drug or if it's like a,
No, I think they're prescribed now. and
Okay.
stuff.
Oh, yeah, they have
some go to
prescriptions,
that
right?
high level.
I thought you were talking about like over the counter.
I
Yeah,
am.
some of them are natural.
I'm talking
too.
about both. I'm talking about all of it. Like it does go from, I mean, teas say dietary supplement, right? So I'm talking about from teas,
Right.
probably on the low end, up to prescription dietary supplement, like
So prescription diet
somebody that went from
suppressors
4,000
work.
or 5,000 calories a day down to 1,500 or
Right.
2,000.
Prescription
and
diet
still be
suppressors
okay.
work. They are literally formulated in a lab to do that, right?
Right.
But the supplements over the counter aren't regulated. So I mean, they could slap anything on there as long as they put certain things in there that are supposed to work and say
Right.
that it's a diet suppressor.
But
Yeah, I mean, but for like one of us to take it, not good.
so just in general,
Yeah.
though, the vitamin supplements, dietary stuff are not regulated.
No, I'm not by the FDA.
And everyone, that's also a misconception.
Right.
Vitamins are is medicine.
Yeah, no.
they make my body and me feel better.
If it's sold at Whole Foods, then it must be good.
Right.
Whole Foods, or if it says the word vitamin, means medicine, but it doesn't.
Right.
At all.
And I will say too, like if you're gonna buy a supplement, I guess we could say this at the end too when we wrap up, but I'm just gonna say it now. If you buy a supplement, you want to have something that's third party tested.
For sure.
And certified, at least under certain things, because at least there's some regulation, right?
I think the big point is vitamins can get very expensive when you're taking stuff you don't need.
Oh yeah.
They're not that expensive. If you've got to buy one or two $20
Right.
or $30 bottles because you're deficient in it, and it's whole and it's organic and Whole Foods and tested and
Right.
and 5 stars everywhere and so on.
Right.
Spend the extra $10.
Then it's worth it because it's your health.
It's
Yeah.
your health.
Mhm.
You need it. So instead of buying the $18 bottle, you buy the $28 bottle, and because you only need 1 or 2 bottles, and typically they come with 100 capsules or 200 capsules.
Yeah.
And anyway, so do we want to go through this list?
Yeah, we can. The list of vitamins.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Okay.
My laptop.
So is green tea a vitamin? No, it's not, or a supplement.
It's not a vitamin. Green tea is is a supplement that people take. It's like a pill of green.
A
like,
pill
yeah.
of green tea.
Same with
but if you're
turmeric.
drinking green tea, that's like
That's
the most
just-
natural,
Yeah.
absorb-friendly way, right?
Right.
And you still get all these benefits.
Yeah. Well, they say there's not a lot of tests that are done on green tea, but yeah.
Let's quickly fly through this list, and then we're going to wrap up, just
Okay.
so it's not a 45-minute or an hour thing. And again, people should do their own research, and we're going to talk about what they should do moving forward at the end,
Mhm.
which we'll summarize it really well. But let's just go one by one. So multivitamins, yay or nay? What?
I would say don't take it unless your doctor says to take it or like a practitioner says to take it. A multivitamin, all multivitamins are different. Something could have 10,000 IUs of D and like the most tiny amount of potassium in it. What is that doing for you? It's probably just going to elevate your vitamin D levels and literally give you no other vitamins that are useful for your body, right? And if you do buy a multivitamin, have a reason for it, and also make sure that the levels aren't totally skewed away from one another, right? Something in a multivitamin shouldn't be like 3,000 times the daily amount.
Right.
And you'll see that on bottles, right? Like it's like you look over and it's like, what percentage of amount is this that you're supposed to have in a normal diet for like a 2,000 calorie diet? And it's like 3,000 times. And it's like, why do you need 3,000 times of a vitamin that you're supposed to have
So
daily?
that doesn't mean like you're good for 30 days.
No, don't take that.
Okay. So, I mean, I think your answer is going to be the same to every question. It depends on whether or not the doctor says you need it.
Well, yeah, I mean, so the doctor's not, I hate to say this because I'm in physician's assistant school and I want everybody to like
Say it.
go see their practitioner, but like the doctors aren't the only people who can prescribe this, right? Like I work with a coach who's not a doctor or a dietitian, but is very knowledgeable because of research, because she's an exercise physiologist, because she does her homework all the time, who reads blood work and also can recommend supplements that are relative to the blood work, right?
Right.
So like that kind of person can do that. You have to pay them, right? None of this is cheap, right? When people say, or like, oh, I bought a $10 bottle of omega-3s that's like has 100 caps. That's bad. It's not good. Don't take that, right? Like none of this is cheap. So don't waste your money unless you need it. But there's lots of people who can give you advice on supplements to take, but they're going to do it scientifically. And if they don't, then they don't know what they're doing technically. Yeah.
Great point. And again, it's not even our advice. Our advice is to seek advice.
Yeah.
It's not to make your own decisions from podcasts.
Right. Unless you can read your own blood work. Or
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So the 0.1% that
Yeah,
can.
right.
We're talking to the other 99.
Yeah.
the point is to really make smart decisions and to set the proper expectations and just to make sure that if you're taking calcium, you need it. If you're taking iron, you're iron deficient.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you don't know what you're at the end of the day, what you're eating and what your diet is, and again, I mean, if anything, we would recommend is to eat right first.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the starting point, and that's like where this business kind of comes in, right? Like, you should always start with changing your lifestyle, unless it's like a severe problem, like you have scurvy, and you're like, I need vitamin C like immediately, or else I'm gonna die, right?
Right.
Which doesn't happen very often, but still happens. I feel like you need to change your lifestyle first. Like, you need to assess what you're doing currently, because it's obviously not working. And our bodies are programmed to make the vitamins and stuff that we need. And then like our food, especially in America, is like tailored to making sure you get your nutrients, right? And you get, even because we have food very readily available to us. And I'm not talking about fast food. I'm talking about like vegetables and fruit and stuff like that. Like, you can go to your grocery store and buy it pretty quickly. Most people, not everyone, but most people, and it's probably especially people who are listening to this podcast.
Whole foods, not processed. If it comes in a bag or a box, it probably doesn't have a lot of great vitamins for you at all.
And you should go to like somebody like here and exercise and then learn how somebody who's healthy usually eats, They eat a lot of vegetables, and they eat like proteins that are healthy, not like super fatty proteins or proteins that aren't going to be like good for your digestion.
Salads, greens,
healthy
vegetables,
fats,
fruits, eat them.
Nuts, stuff like that.
No one's saying don't eat blueberries because there's carbs in it. That's ridiculous. Absolutely eat them. There's a lot of nutrients in them. Bananas.
And that should be the starting point for this, We change all of that, and then it's like, well, I'm still feeling weird, Like, I'm still feeling tired, or I'm still having this symptom and I don't know what's wrong. Well, maybe it's just something that you're not getting, even if you're eating healthy, which can happen, Like we talked about potassium. Like, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables every day. And I still, for the amount I exercise, which is why Jeremy takes the electrolytes, For the amount I exercise and the amount of energy I put into certain things, like, I don't get enough potassium for my body specifically, and for the like energy that I put out. So then that's when a point where you would be like, oh, maybe I should go find out what's happening. And then you get it back and it's like, oh, my potassium level is like a little bit low. Let's try it. Let's see if supplementing works. And makes me feel better for this specific symptom.
So what you're saying is, if you feel like crap, you shouldn't start here.
No.
With the supplements.
Supplements are not.
You can do before that, and then maybe consult your doctor and see if you're not absorbing something.
Or somebody who,
of course,
knows
so
how to suggest.
It's bettering your diet, getting exercise in, getting sunshine in, doing the right things that you're doing things right. Then go to the doctor. So at least you can test it, and then see where you're at, and then if you're missing calcium, doesn't mean you have to run and get calcium vitamins either. You can eat more oranges. Like I'm just saying. Like,
and I mean, a lot of supplementation too. We haven't mentioned this. Should probably be temporary, I mean, it's like you shouldn't constantly, unless you're like following a vegan diet and you're like, I absolutely know, like, I'm going to be a vegan for the rest of my life and I don't eat enough iron, Like, I don't like protein powder. I don't get enough iron, something like that. Then like you could take an iron supplement for the rest of your life if you wanted to. Like, if you find a dosage that works for you and it makes you feel better and like your hemoglobin is healthy and stuff like that, then fine, like you should take it. But a lot of supplements are meant to supplement for a temporary period of time until you figure out what works, in order to not have to buy a bottle of pills every single month.
Right on. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we were going to talk about some of the most popular vitamins, but
I think we did.
I think we have. Is the point that we've covered it.
Natural air, sunshine, exercise.
And whole foods, okay, great. Just some important key takeaways. So change your lifestyle. If you're feeling tired, if joints and muscles hurt, if anxiety is up, if stress is up, if you do feel depression coming, Please start with eating right and exercising and seeing if that changes your mood and health and life first. Then consult your doctor.
Right. I mean, I'm going to say too, I think many people like go to their doctor when they're having problems, and their practitioner, not even just doctor, whoever it is like, you should exercise more, you should eat healthier. And people are just like,
what about some of them don't? Some of them do prescribe right away.
Yeah, some don't. Some
don't even say that.
That's an older style of medicine. that's not a common style of medicine anymore. I'm just gonna say that.
I know, and that's why you're gonna go
right. Yeah. But some people do that, and it's not, in my opinion, that's not how I would practice. But aside from that, I mean.
Yeah, but if you walk in and you're like, my joints hurt, my cholesterol is up, you're going to get prescribed a bunch of medications from most doctors.
I think some. I mean, it also depends on age. There's a lot of factors that go into prescribing.
I'm just saying. So no better prescription, and I'm sure if you did tell the doctor, hey, is there anything else other than medication that I could do right now? If they are quick to write you a prescription, what's it called? To give some feedback back, or ask for why.
Yeah, you can ask why.
What else can I do before I commit to taking?
Right.
And you know what, to be fair to doctors, I think most doctors prescribe exercise and whole foods, but they know their patients.
People don't follow it.
Yeah, they're not following it. So
I'm pro doctor. I'm very pro doctor. Trust me. I'm just the whole, you just think about it, and even for me, it was one appointment after another, and I know I had 20 years of being unhealthy as my history, so he had his doubts on whether or not I would find exercise. But I just remember pleading with him, just one more chance, chance.
Yeah.
And it was like 3 appointments in a row, and he's just like, you need to take high cholesterol, you need to take blood pressure medicine, and it's just like,
right. I also feel like we could, this is a whole nother podcast topic, so I'm not going to get into it, but I'm going to say we need to have some self-awareness, because before you go to your doctor, or before you let your health get to the point where you're like, I need to see my doctor, should realize that you're living a sedentary life, where you're eating fast food 4 times a week, or you're eating processed foods constantly
4 times a day.
Yeah, I mean, we need to.
What podcast 44.
Right, we need to reflect a little bit about that, because you should change your lifestyle first if you're having symptoms that correlate with an unhealthy lifestyle. Right.
Read the labels. Right, so knowing the ingredients, like Jeremy just said, the supplement gave them the needed
read
percentages.
The
Read the label. Take note of your diet. So again, what we've been talking about, just your daily habits and what you're eating, and I know everyone's intelligent people enough to know that you're not going to get a lot of nutrients and vitamins and healthy things from restaurants, fast food, fast casual restaurants that are literally buying the cheapest, worst, preservative-filled, GMO-filled ingredients.
Right. Cook with things that aren't great for you.
What's going to happen is exactly what happened to me. You're gonna get obese. You're gonna feel bad all the time.
Right.
And you're going to start having pains and ulcers, and a million ancillary issues. So that's what you're proactively putting toxins into your body, knowing that there's going to be negative effects.
Right. We all,
short term and long.
All adults pretty much know what's going to happen if you eat like a really, really unhealthy diet and live sedentarily for years at a time. Like we're all aware of that, right? Like but people still don't avoid it.
Because they don't believe death is right around the corner.
Right.
Which it always is.
Yeah.
Which it always is. Was at a funeral yesterday.
Right. I didn't know that.
I was at a funeral yesterday. Yeah, 62 years young.
Wow.
You never know.
You never know.
I will say,
why push all your chips towards unhealth?
Right. I will say for just the last thing here, when we said read the labels again, reach out to people who know what they're talking about, right? There's people like, if I called my doctor right now and I was like, do you have some good supplement brands that you recommend? Like, I want to take this. Even if I had no reason for it, they know I'm going to do it anyway. So they would tell me. Like, we know good supplement brands, right? So, like, anybody listening to this, if you're thinking about taking one, we can't tell you not to. Like, we can't force you not to. So if you've already decided on taking it, at least reach out and figure out
what's your feedback
what's
on
good.
this?
Reach
out to us. No problem.
I mean, don't take something that's not good for you or bioavailable or, not processed properly, something like that that's gonna like worsen your health.
Yeah, because you can get a vitamin D pill with the same I use for, let's say, a pill box for $9.99.
Yeah.
Or you can find the same one for $29.99.
Right. And the difference is, are they caps? Are they pressed pills? How much time did they spend it like processing it into the pill? Like, are you actually getting the amount of IUs they say? Did they make it so that it's like going to be absorbed faster, slower, stuff like that? Like, there's so much stuff that goes into this, right? We were talking about omega-3s. If you open up a thing of omega-3s at the grocery store, which you can, and you smell it and it smells fishy, it's oxidized. So you take
a lot of them do.
And it does exactly the opposite thing that it is meant to do, which is lower your cholesterol. It will raise your cholesterol. Wow. So you have to be aware of those things, right? But most people aren't. So if you know somebody who is, someone like a coach, a doctor, a practitioner, ask.
Right.
Don't take something that's going to harm you. Yeah. So.
All right, Sam, you crushed it again.
Ooh.
She's always crushing.
Anything
it's not even leg day.
Not even leg day.
She crushes leg day.
I do.
If you ever need a
good leg workout.
A good leg workout, she's your gal.
I am.
Yeah, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you
so much for coming on.
An awesome teammate, a friend.
Thank you.
And
it was fun.
And a smart cookie.
I'm getting there.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks
cool. Let's do it.
Good job. Good work. See? And you worried, Jeremy.
I was so worried.
So worried about the supplementation podcast.
Podcast 43. We are out.
We're out.
Peace.